think the best thing that we have ever enjoyed since we entered into development work is the coming of ACT.
You cannot go and ask the government to be accountable when you yourself you are not.
ACT came with a mentality that was not there before. Coaching mentality, mentoring mentality.
It was no more about table desktop operations. It's now into the field and getting more impact and getting more people's life transformed.
The gain of this EU intervention on my organization is enormous that I can't begin to enumerate one by one.
Well, whether or not there is an EU ACT program too, I can say very clearly that the European Union would continue to support the civil society sector.
ACT is actually Agent for Citizens-Driven Transformation. It is the EU flagship program that looks to support strengthening of civil society organizations' capacity to become more credible, to become more effective, efficient in what they do, so they can contribute effectively to sustainable development in Nigeria.
There are two components on the program. Component one, which is the one I'm managing, is about strengthening civil society capacity to enable them contribute better to development initiatives, because that's what civil society do anyways.
So we are looking at a 360-degree approach in terms of that capacity development process.
We support the strengthening of their internal systems. That's the way they keep their records together, their accounting processes, their financial procedures, ensuring that their documents and financial information are as transparent as possible, and then there are ensuring there are policies which they use in the organization to inform the working of the organization. Then we also support their program capacity, and that's very important, their capacity to deliver on the key aspects of work that they do. And then we also support their external, what we call external relations. So networking is important for civil society organizations. So you cannot grow without a network. You cannot grow without knowing people within the sector, because it's all about identifying stakeholders to work with.
EU ACT is being implemented in 10 states, and support is being provided to slightly more than 200 civil society organizations. And these civil society organizations were identified through the projects that the European Union delegation was supporting at the time the EU ACT project was designed and identified. So all the beneficiaries of the EU ACT project are civil society organizations that are part of existing EU interventions across the different thematic areas that the European Union delegation is working.
We want civil society organizations to sustainably contribute to development in Nigeria. But how do they do it if they don't have the capacity? How do they do it if you can only find a handful? But when you go to the CAC, for example, there are over 9,000 people registered as civil society organizations, but then there are always the same names cropping up, which means you have CSOs dispersed all over. We should be seeing the impact.
We are looking to see that 200 CSOs have improved their capacity effectively, efficiently, to manage their program and do what they want, what they claim they are doing effectively. And how do we do that? We did what we call capacity assessment, self-assessment. We understand what is the issue with specific organizations. So our support is not generic. Our support is specific to you. All these 200 CSOs went through capacity assessment, and they over a number of areas, and they identify where their weaknesses are. And then we sat down with them to say, these are your weaknesses that you identify by yourself. How do we resolve it? These are the things that we can do. So much of what we are doing with them are tailor-made support.
And the plan is to be able to reach, cover OCA for the 200 CSOs that we engage with within year 1 to year 4. But as I talk to you, we have already achieved milestones even for year 4. All the 200 civil society organizations have completed their OCA. Beyond the development of these capacity development plans, we also facilitated a process where these same CSOs that we supported them to develop action plans, a set of specific action of things that they will do institutionally during the course of our engagement with them. As I talk to you, we have also been able to achieve that. All the 200 CSOs that we are supporting or that we have a relationship with, they have also developed their action plan, which they have been implementing since the time that we engaged with them since 2019.
As of today, we've rolled out close to 120 plus trainings for 200 CSOs in different areas and based on needs. We have 5 trainings that are compulsory for everyone, irrespective of your level. We have a training on project cycle management, that's compulsory. Training on advocacy and right-based approach, also compulsory. Training on finance, financial processes and procedures, compulsory. Training on fundraising and proposal writing, very compulsory for all the CSOs that we're working with. So we have trainings that are compulsory, but then there are, those compulsory trainings enable every of our CSOs, our 200 CSOs, to be eligible for our grant. So you must have attended at least 4 of our trainings for you to be able to apply for our grants, because we have a grant component as well under this component 1.
EU Arts program has benefited the organization so immensely, in the sense that they build our capacity. They also strengthen the organization structures. For example, they help us to develop some policies, the gender policies. They help us to strengthen our communication policy. They helped us to carry out a lot of system strengthening, and that has helped us a lot.
The benefits of EU coming into Rivers State, and it's beyond imagination. Let's start with the issue about capacity. First of all, we're at the point of setting up as a network, bringing people together. So EU's input was timely. The presence of EU helped us in the network building, because we had over 12 capacity building opportunities. Our leaders were trained, our members were trained, opportunities were spread, specific activities that needed specific skills received specific training.
Before now, we're not getting grants. We try and try all over, but with some of the empowerment through trainings that they gave to us, project management, financial management, proposal writing, I think we have about 5 donors that are ready to work with us. And this is just the credibility that the EU Act is giving to the civil society space in Nigeria. And I think my organization has been a very big benefactor of this program in Nigeria.
The advent of British Council actually helped us to get structured in a way through capacity building programs. Mostly the key thing for me is the financial management training and the mentorship program. That was key, that was the icing on the cake.
Well, I like the checks and balances that goes with it. You're always on, you know that there's somebody watching out there, it doesn't, so you need to get it right. And I like the capacity building, constantly building your capacity, so that these are things that even after the circle of this project, you would have gained the value that EU Act brings to the table.
When you have somebody right from the startup to say, okay, fine, there's no problem, we are there for you. We are going to provide a shoulder that you're going to lean on in terms of training your personnel. So we do as much as possible to make sure that we train them so that you have the required knowledge, that you can start with in terms of implementation. So in terms of training, we can't throw it away. It's something that we really appreciate. So in terms of strengthening our system to accounting system, helping us to formulate, policy, and most especially, I think we should be grateful to EU ACT, British Council, in the sense that they were able to sit down together with us and come up with a strategic plan, which is a roadmap, a 4-year strategic plan, it doesn't come cheap. So we don't have the money to invest on this, as an emerging organization, but we have an organization that says, okay, what are you people lacking? So, and we told them, we appreciate if you can help us, come up with a strategic plan, and they did it. At the end of the day, they assigned us a mentor, and we were able to come up with a 4-year strategic plan, which we are currently implementing, which serves as a roadmap to what we are doing.
The majority of the ones that we have worked with demonstrating that they have improved in their capacity. How do we do that? We didn't bring money into the table. We don't have a lot of money to give as grant, but having been trained over a number of training, we said, okay, take this little grant, demonstrate the capacity that you have earned, and let us see how you can use this grant to implement in your area. So if you are a health-focused organization now, you give us a proposal that you want to do something related to what you are, and then we want to see how you use the training that you have gotten to demonstrate and implement that project. And at the end of it all, what differences have we made in your processes, in your internal mechanism in doing this project?
And some of the results that are coming back is amazing. Let me give an example of Kano. In Kano, we have an organization that had a history of what I told you earlier. CSOs just sitting around, not doing anything, And now when we have come to help them get this work done, they now have 3 grants running, plus ours. So our grants plus 2 more grants.
We are expecting to see civil society organizations that are now strong in their institutional mechanism, in their institutional processes, in their procedures and project management ability, in how they engage with stakeholders.
For us in NEDIN, I think the best thing that we have ever enjoyed since we entered into development work is the coming of ACT, in the sense that ACT came with a mentality that was not there before: coaching mentality, mentoring mentality, capacity building mentality. Their coming have transformed us. And not only that, during the call for proposal, we are part of the people that apply for the grant. And at the end of the day, we are fortunate to get the grant, which currently we are implementing. That's what we are doing here today. So, and in our years of existence, it has been very difficult for our organization as individual organization to get grants, except we come together as a group. But today, we are having a grant directly given to us as an organization, which we are currently managing. And this is a welcome development for us.
The Agents for Citizen-Driven Transformation Act program has proven to be an effective intervention in the civic space in Nigeria. It is now left to benefiting organizations to sustain the gain of the program.